Okay, full transparency, it is snowing here in Maryland. If you were watching this after the fact, I apologize for the power outage. We're back. Again, genuine apologies for if you guys are watching this Monday morning. Unfortunately, I can't control that. We're good, though. I'm safe. We're good. Go ahead and go to more, we'll go ahead and go to the next game, and then I'll just wait for people to get back in. But I'm going to go Commanders-Cowboys. Big win for the Commanders. They don't have to play Philly in the wild card round. Terry McLaurin franchise record in receiving touchdowns with an actual quarterback. 5 wins heading into the postseason. 5 straight wins heading into the postseason for Washington, and their first 12-win season since 1991. For Dallas, I thought this was just a fitting way to end the season with Mike McCarthy's game management. Mike Zimmer, the defensive coordinator, allowed a 91-yard drive. I just thought it was fitting for this team, and like we said with Buffalo, with the punter Sam Martin, I think it says a lot about Dallas not letting Cooper Rush go for a bonus. I just thought it was very fitting for Dallas to lose this game the way they did. And guys, I apologize. I'm sorry. I apologize for the power outage. We're back. But it was, I'll just say this. I really hate sulking. Is he here to troll? Was bizarre take this time? No, I'm not really trolling anybody. No, it was just, that's fitting. Fitting how the game went, fitting how the Vikings game went, and here we are. But we're back, I guess. We're back. All right, all right, we have the Bucs Saints. We have Bucs Saints. Let's go ahead and go to Bucs Saints. Where's the logo? I actually missed the Bucs Saints on the weekly preview, and it appears I don't have their logo. So we're going, let's just go old classic here. Let's go, we will go with the classic. Hold on here. We have the Saints logo. We have the Saints logo right here. And then we have, because the game was in Tampa. So let's go ahead and pull out the Bucs logo. And then, nope, not the Eagles. Not the Eagles. And then we have the Bucs logo. Okay, there we go. And then there we are. Should be right there. Okay, we have Saints Bucs. The Bucs played with fire. Certainly played with fire. They not nearly, but they were down at half. It was very concerning. Mike Evans got his 1,000 yards. Jalen McMillan, incredible end of the year. They won the division. They won the NFC South. Bucky Irving, tremendous rookie season from Bucky. Very, very happy for him. Very glad for the success he's had. But the Bucs win 27-19. And I am really looking forward to the rematch from week 1 of Commanders Bucs from back in week 1. Saints, I have one request, and it is to please rebuild. Good for the Saints to have their arch rival Falcons lose. Also, not make the postseason for the Falcons. Spencer Rattler did look better in this game, like a lot better. The Spencer Rattler we saw a couple weeks ago in Monday Night against Green Bay was nowhere to be seen in this game. The only question I have is, what are they going to do at quarterback? I don't think that sample is enough to commit to him next year. Think Sam Howell 2022 going into 2023, 5th-round rookie quarterback. It's almost an identical situation. I don't know what they're going to do, though, and that's kind of a problem. But again, we have a whole offseason to discuss what the Saints are going to do. Of course, Derek Carr's situation is a situation. But I just hope they don't roll into 25 and think that Spencer Rattler is the savior. Now let's go ahead and go to, we have Panthers-Falcons. Panthers-Falcons is up, and let's go ahead and just, this is a quick, what I have in all caps here. What an end of the year for Bryce Young and the Panthers, truly. Bryce Young, legitimate confidence today. I don't know if you guys saw the touchdown where he had the ball was in air, and he turned away from the camera because he knew it was already going to be a touchdown. We have not seen this Bryce Young outside of glimpses down the stretch for most of the first years of his career. So I was incredibly happy for Bryce Young. And I also wanted to say 5 total touchdowns. 5 total touchdowns today. Like I said, happy for him. Draft pick at this point, I don't care about the draft pick for the Panthers. If you say heading into this game you put up 44 points, Bryce Young, 5 total touchdowns, nobody cares, man. They have their guy entering Bryce Young's 3rd year, and Dave Canales, I thought, got better as the season went on. Not elite, but he got better, and that's the main takeaway. Now for the Falcons, I put down a couple words: defense this offseason. That's it. 6-3 to 8-9, 7-10 last year to 8-9. Dreadful end of the year. I am also not a big Raheem Morris fan. And if I were the Falcons, I think I would try and hire Liam Cohen, the Bucs offensive coordinator. That is honestly kind of where I stand with that. I was really disappointed with the Falcons' end of the season, but really happy for really happy with the Panthers' end of the year. Appreciate the super chat. Austin, do I think the Browns draft a quarterback at number 2? I feel like the answer would be yes, because they're at a point now with Myles Garrett who said basically I need like a map to success. And there's also a chance that the Browns, let me actually kind of backtrack for a second, or let me give you the two paths. It is draft a quarterback at 2, which is option 1, or try and trade back, get whatever capital you can, and then draft whatever best player available, and then sign Kirk Cousins in the offseason because Kirk has the familiarity with Kevin Stefanski. Those are your two options. I don't know which to actually think about this. I would say right now, drastic situation, yes or no. Keep in mind this is week 18. We have 3 months to think about it. I would say yes, they draft one to just get some hype to everything. I feel like the answer would be yes. But those are your two options. All right. Appreciate everyone being in here, and appreciate everyone joining the second one. I'm sorry the power blacked out on the first one. I'm sorry about that. It describes how tonight went as a Vikings fan. I'll just say that. But let's go to the next game. And if you guys are enjoying the content, please drop a like. It helps tremendously, and appreciate everyone being in here. So we have Bears-Packers. Bears 24, Packers 22. The Bears winning in Lambeau means more to them than a position in the draft at this point. This was the first Bears win since all the way back in 2018. Their first win this decade against the Packers in Lambeau. Good for Caleb, man. Good for Caleb. His numbers weren't the best in this game, but he looked better with the game on the line. At least I thought towards the end, it was play after play. I thought Caleb was moving the ball better, and I thought there was more confidence that you could see, which is a step in the right direction from where this team was most of the year. And like we said, DJ Moore after we didn't say this part, but it was just a good win for the Bears. DJ Moore said after the game, just, how did the team feel? And he said, basically, F them, it's the Packers. And I like that kind of like hated rivalry towards, I think we need more of that. Like, we don't like these guys. These are rivals. We want it to be a hard-hitting game that we want to come out on top of. So, good for the Bears, man. First win in the history of me doing videos on the channel that they beat the Packers. The Packers are in a tough situation. They are quite literally a fingertip away from being 0-6 in the division. The end around on 4th down at the start of the 4th quarter was not good. The clock management was also terrible for Matt LaFleur. Bad game from LaFleur. Brutal loss for them when it could have been a confidence booster heading into January, and now they have to go to Philly next week. So I don't feel good about that. And they kind of remind me of the Steelers right now of the NFC, but I like the Packers' future because of how young they are. Now, I know I said the last week that the Packers are fine. I'm not backtracking on that. I still think they're fine long-term. I have the utmost respect for their organization. I think they're a really well-run organization, just in a tough situation specifically at the end of 2024. But I do think they will be fine in the long run. All right, we have 4 o'clock games now. We have Cardinals-Niners. Good end of the year for Arizona. They won 2 of their final 4 games. Good to see Trey McBride, MHJ, and Greg Dortch all get into the end zone. Dortch had 2 touchdowns today. They had a lot of peaks and valleys throughout the 2024 season. There were games where Kyler looked terrific, and then there were also games where he looked very much like, why are you getting paid $200 million? Today was one of the good days. Good end of the year for him. I think that is a really solid confidence builder for them heading into 2025, just unfortunately too little too late. For the 49ers, the biggest thing is the horrible years is finally over. They have the 11th pick in the draft. First time allowing 40-plus points consecutively since 2015. Ricky Pearsall finished the year strong, and if you didn't watch this game and you want to go watch highlights of the 49ers, aside from Ricky Pearsall, Josh Dobbs and Patrick Taylor were the starting quarterback and the running back that had the most touches in this game. That's really what you need to know for this game for the 49ers. Let's go ahead and address some comments real quick. All right. All season, Caleb looked his best with the game on the line. I think that's very encouraging. Agree. As a Cardinals fan, where was his passing game all year? Also agree, Jacob. I'm big on the Cardinals. I will be big on the Cardinals next year. What's up, Dimes? How we doing? Nice game over. Yeah, it's just tough one here. Don't lose faith in your Vikes. Y'all are 0-4 in the red zone. If y'all can clean that up, then you guys will take the Rams to town. Keep your head up. It's just tough to be positive right now. That's a little dramatic, but it's tough to be upbeat about the situation. I'm upset with a lot. Sam Darnold played terrible tonight. I also think at times, by the way, I do want to address one thing, because I think at times, if you are a fan of the Jets, is a perfect example, because the Jets are a bad team. They finished good today, but they are a bad team, and they are a really dysfunctional organization at times. For something to get leaked about your owner's grandson telling him about Madden ratings, that is an embarrassment, first off. But my point is if you're a fan of a team like that, a bad team, no good head coach, no good play caller, you see a bad offense week after week, I think you have this idea, because I've been there. I've been there a lot with the Vikings whenever things weren't well, that, hey, if we have this Kyle Shanahan, if we have this Sean McVay, that things are just magically going to just, like, and they have with Kevin O'Connell. I mean, he has 2 13-win seasons in the first 3 years, but people associate that with being perfect. And tonight was a perfect example. Kevin O'Connell was not perfect tonight. I know I've got on Sam Darnold tonight, rightfully so, but KOC is just, at times, he gets way too cute with it. There's just times where I get very, very frustrated with Kevin. Tonight was one of them. No, just to not even run the ball at all in the first couple of times. I mean, we had 7 passing plays inside the 10-yard line, no runs. Sam was off. It was just bad, man. KOC is overrated AF. I don't think he's overrated, because I still think people ask if he's a top 10 coach, and I think KOC is definitely a top 10 coach. I don't think he's overrated, personally. I think he's properly rated, but it was frustrating, man. I'd like to say a lot more like expletive words, but I'm not. But the new setup is claustrophobic. I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling fine. I'm feeling really good, but appreciate you being here. All right, thoughts on Tyreek Hill's post-game comments? Yeah, let's actually go ahead and discuss that one now. I was going to go Chiefs-Broncos next, but we will go ahead and go with the Dolphins here. So here's the whole thing, right? I'll just get the Dolphins out of the way. This loss was just fitting. Just fitting for the 2024 Dolphins. Awful season. They were set up to lose from start to finish, and we'll do a Dolphins video very soon. Maybe even this week, maybe Thursday. We'll see. I will stand by, even if they won a few extra games, if Tua stays healthy, that they would have been one and done. I will stand by that. I am not a Chris Grier fan at all. That was my big takeaway, is that he should be gone. They already said that they are committed to him and McDaniel for 2025, which I think is a mistake. The roster heading into 2024 was quite literally setting your team up to fail. Bringing all of the vets in. Odell, Calais Campbell. There was Shaq Barrett, who eventually he retired and then he came back. That was a weird situation. The whole thing to bring these guys in, and Jordan Poyer was another one. We're going to run it back. We're going to go good. We're going to be good here. We lost the wild card round last year. We lost 2 interior offensive linemen, which is a critical part of the Dolphins' 2020, or not the 2024 success. The offensive line is arguably the most important thing of the Dolphins' success, period. They didn't really address it. They just said, nah, we're good. We'll figure it out. The run game was terrible all year. They are, by every definition, a soft football team. This was a fitting loss for them. It was truly fitting that the Dolphins lost this game the way they did. Now, for the Jets, I'll say this. I thought it was honestly hilarious that of all games, Rodgers throws 4 touchdowns in a meaningless Week 18 game. Shout out Tyler Conklin for the 500th touchdown. Obviously, way too little too late. I don't think Aaron Rodgers retires. I know there was a lot of discussion heading into this game of could this be his last game. I don't think he retires. Jets fans, I am really curious how you feel about that, but I don't think Aaron Rodgers retires after that, personally. Now, if you guys do go look at the stats of this game, or Rodgers' stats for the season, he finished the year something like 28 touchdowns to 11 picks. So he actually statistically played well this year, but it was that was not a true 28 to 11 season. If you watch the games, you know what I mean by that. But the Dolphins, and with Tyreek Hill's comments to say, I'm out, I wish them the best. I don't think he even said that actually, but I got to do what's best for my career, and I'm out, bro. You are, I have a lot of problems with that, but what I would say is you are a 9-year vet now, and not only that, you are making this comment after a season which you just were eliminated from the playoffs. You finished with a losing record. You still have to take the 2.5-hour flight from LaGuardia, or I would imagine LaGuardia, whatever, New York, down to Miami with all of your teammates who have cell phones who can see, oh, Tyreek Hill said this in post game. Your coaches who can very easily look and say, Tyreek Hill said this post game. Just the situational awareness. What are you doing? That's my whole thing with Tyreek. And then, didn't Tyreek go to Miami because Casey couldn't pay him? What's up, dog? Yes, great username, by the way. He went there because of that. Because Casey didn't want to pay him. Casey 100% right. Casey back-to-back Super Bowls. Maybe the first ever three-peat. What an all-around just bad. That Tyreek situation fits the 2024 Dolphins. It really does. All right, let's go to a new game here. Chiefs-Broncos. Obviously, really nothing to say here for the Chiefs. They didn't play their starters. I will say I was pretty surprised by how lopsided it was, 38-0. Spread was only 10 to 11 points. I thought there was a chance that maybe it's 20-13 in the fourth quarter and Carson Wentz maybe has a chance to lead a game-winning drive, game-tying drive. I thought there was a chance for that. I will also say that Carson had a chance to play for his future in this game and potentially have a maybe, just maybe something works out here and maybe I can get a chance on a team like the Steelers who have quarterback problems, the Raiders, maybe somewhere. But obviously that didn't go well. Bo Nix, 26 of 29, 321, 4 touchdowns. Also led the team in rushing. 479 yards of offense to just 98 yards. Obviously, like we said, the Chiefs backups. Must-win game. Credit the Broncos for playing up and not playing flat, and it's easier said than done. So credit to them. I don't think they're going to go into Buffalo and win next week, but I would say that it's, Bo Nix finished the year with 33 total touchdowns. A lot of people want to make the Mac Jones comparison to Bo Nix, which I think is pretty disrespectful, but good for Bo, man. Way to end the year, and good for the Broncos. I hope they give the Bills a game next week. I think it's going to be a touchdown game, but I think the Broncos we'll see if they do, but they can make it competitive with the defense. Just can't have any turnovers next week in Buffalo, but I'm excited for it. I do think the Bills will win, but good end of the year for Denver. There's not much to say other than that. Adam says, appreciate and then first, but appreciate the super chat, Adam. I know we played Casey's backups, but Bo Nix still balled out today. Devon Vele, Audric Estime, and Nix are the future. I am a big Audric Estime fan. I don't know if you follow me on Twitter, Adam, but I tweeted a lot of Audric clips last year out of Notre Dame. I love him as a player, and I was ecstatic for the Broncos whenever they drafted him, and especially you have that quarterback running back duo in the same class. I hope you're right. Also, appreciate the super chat here. Thoughts on the Pats firing Mayo from Austin Omino. I thought it was the best decision in a bad situation because I thought it was a decision that would have had to have been made eventually. And if you have to, nobody wants to talk about their kid being ugly. If you have to make the decision to make that decision that you think you may have to make in a year, maybe in a year and a half, just make it now. Just save everybody the time. Don't waste another full year of Drake May's rookie year. Just make the decision now. Tyler, football analysis, GOAT. Have a good night, man. Appreciate it, Tyler. Appreciate you being in here. Omen says, big smooches for you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I guess. We'll move on to the next game here. There's only a couple more here. Chargers, and then we'll get to the Vikings. I know everybody wants to hear about the Vikings, and they let me down again. I'm used to that. This one hurt, though. I will be honest. This one hurt. Chargers, Raiders. Let's pull up the logo here. We have Chargers, Raiders, and then we have Seahawks, Rams. Justin Herbert, 346 yards, 2 touchdowns. Even had a 41-yard run in this game. Quentin Johnston, 13 receptions, 186 yards. I really hope that QJ has himself a game against the Texans because the Texans secondary is very good. I really hope that QJ steps up, and I hope this is the redemption arc for him. 186 yards for QJ. I'll be honest, I'm saying this off the top of my head. I know Justin Jefferson just finished with 1,500 yards, rather. I don't think Justin Jefferson had a 186-yard game this year. Now, I know not every situation is created equal, obviously. My point here, just to simply install confidence in Chargers fans with Quentin Johnston. We're not dissing JJ, but that's awesome. I'm happy for him. Really, really happy for him. But Ladd McConkey, 95 yards. Each player had multiple big plays, 5 and 12 to 11 and 6. I was always a big fan of the Jim Harbaugh hire, and I am very glad to see the Chargers have these results in year one. And I don't think the roster is all that talented, so I think we're going to see, kind of like a ramp. We're going to see, 5 and 12 to 11 and 6, and then really start to take off. So I really like that. Raiders. Sorry about that. I have a stat for you guys. You guys may not know. The Raiders had 2 1,000-yard receivers this year, Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers. So good for Jacoby, first 1,000-yard year ever. They have a tough situation ahead of them because, what do they actually do? AP's in a tough situation. I'm curious, where do you guys stand on that, truly? No, we're not dissing JJ. We're not dissing JJ. It was more to show respect to Quentin Johnston because Quentin Johnston balled out, and he deserves the respect. But at least for today's game. But the Raiders just, I don't know. I don't know what they do. We're going to break all of these situations down, by the way. Like for the non-playoff teams, whether it's everything, we're going to break them all down, and I can't wait. But I don't know what the Raiders do because they're kind of in a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. All right, final game of the week here. Seahawks, Rams. Rams rested most of their starters. Tough year for Seattle at times, but thought this was a solid end. Geno had 4 passing touchdowns. This may have been Tyler Lockett's last game in Seattle. I don't know if you guys saw the cleats. He had one of his cleats had like 3rd round pick 69 where he was drafted, and then it's like basically these adversity quotes on his other cleat. So his contract's also not pretty, so it might be his last game. Seattle went 7-1 on the road in McDonald's first year as a head coach. Pretty impressive. Definitely something to build on moving forward. Jimmy G looked good in this game for the Rams. I really, really like Jordan Whittington. I think he's in a tough situation just because what is the actual plan for him? Because, wide receiver 3? I think Jordan Whittington's a really talented player. But maybe wide receiver 2 if they move on from Kupp this offseason. That's conversation for another day, but I really like Jordan Whittington. I thought the backups went toe-to-toe with a team that was clearly trying in the Seahawks, so good for the Rams there. I will stand by the Rams. I will stand by this. You guys ready? Hot take if there is one. The Rams are a dark horse team that could go to the Super Bowl. I will stand by that take. They are a very solid team. They dealt with a lot of injuries early on. They rested their starters today. The Rams are a solid football team. All right. Let's go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off here. All right. I'm a Justin Herbert hater. Why am I a Justin Herbert hater? Anyway here. As a lifelong Vikes fan, this team is not for the faint of heart and near impossible to get into. That being said, delusion is the answer. Vikings win it. I like that. Appreciate the super chat. Thoughts on the Raiders this offseason. Great work. I'll get Honan. I promise I will go back to that. We'll break it down all in a video. They scare me though because I don't know what they're going to do. We'll see though. All right, Vikings Lions. I want to pull up ugly stats here because there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. First off, the Vikings. By the way, I want to credit the Lions. I do want to credit the Lions. I don't want this to be a Vikings sulk and then that they should have won and all that. Although I will stand by the Vikings had countless opportunities to win this game, and you're not going to win games against the Lions. Great teams. A team that was my preseason pick to go to the Super Bowl. A team that is still my pick to go to the Super Bowl. You're not going to win games against them putting up 6 points in 4 drives when you have the ball in their territory. That right there was the bottom line. Just missed opportunities was the name of the game. I tweeted there were a lot of missed opportunities within this game for the Vikings. I know the final was 31-9. I think Lions fans would also acknowledge that was not a true 31-9 game. I think it was more of like a 24-10. But again, credit where it's due. It's just more of what are we doing? Here's some tweets that I had. Outclassed. KOC was outcoached, by the way. Kevin O'Connell completely outcoached in this game. You're down 17-9. Here's the swing, by the way. You're down 17-9. Kicker clearly struggling. If you follow the Vikings, you know Will Reichert has not had a good couple of weeks. There are some fans that legitimately think Will Reichert is still injured. He went on IR earlier in the year. There's some fans that don't think he's fully healthy. And I'm not going to question a player's health. I'm not here to do that. I don't question players' health. I'm Not going to do that. But what I will say is, I don't think he's confident, and I think that much is clear. I mean, he kicked a 23, 25 yarder earlier in the game when it was 7-0, and that barely squeaked in the upright. And you have a chance. You go into the half down 7-6, down at half 7-6. All right, there's 20 seconds left. What's he do? Kick the ball out of bounds. Just hand the Lions a free 5. Hand the Lions a free 3 points. Sure. Okay, great, Will. Thanks. Hand them a free 3 points. Do or die game, that can't happen. That 100% can't happen. So that was a swing there. And Sam Darnold, by the way, atrocious tonight. Atrocious. Wasn't confident. Didn't look like the Sam Darnold we've seen over the past however many weeks. I mean, this was the Jags game earlier in the year was on the level of tonight. It was awful. It was awful. I'm going to read Sam's final stats here, by the way. I just want to read Sam's final stats just so we can put numbers as to how bad it was. 18 of 41, 166 yards, 4 yards in attempts, 0 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions. There was one stat that I specifically saw from an ESPN account here. It was Kevin Seifert, ESPN, per ESPN research. And this was at 9:55 in the game. I'm not exactly sure. This was probably in the first half. Per ESPN research, or near the end of the half, Sam Darnold has 8 overthrows tonight, the second most for a game in his career. The only other game with more was in Week 7 of 2019 when he had 12 while with the Jets, and this was against the Patriots. And guess what game that was. It was the game where old Sammy saw ghosts. I don't have a lot to say other than that. You're not going to win the game with 10, 12, 14, however many overthrows he had. 18 of 41 is not going to get it done. Not against the Lions. It might against the Jags in a game you win 12-7. It might get it done against the Colts in a game you win 21-13. You're going to do that against the Lions? You're going to do that against the Rams next week? I have a lot of questions. I really, really do. There were a couple super chats. Go Lions. Lions defense had their best game of the year. But yes, credit. Yes, Aaron Glenn, a hell of a game plan. Hell of a game. He had stunts all night. He trusted his corners. Kendall Vildor, tremendous game. Amik Robertson, I know he had one flag, but great game. Brian Branch is a problem. Brian Branch was a player that the league should have never fallen to the middle of the second round. And look what he does. Who would have thought a great prospect like Brian Branch that can play the star position, that doesn't miss tackles, that covers man, covers zone, is a problem. Played in the SEC for multiple years. I think he might have missed one tackle his entire final year. Who would have thought he'd be good? Credit the Lions, by the way, as well. Credit Brad Holmes, because he traded up directly in front of the Packers, who were probably going to take Brian Branch directly in front of him so the division rival couldn't have him. Those are things winning organizations do. Lions, especially Aaron Glenn, by the way. Now, if we want to talk about Jared Goff, I thought Jared Goff was kind of saved tonight by the defense, by Jahmyr Gibbs. I didn't think Jared Goff played good. The one interception to Harrison Smith was very much that was a very poor decision. But that was, again, the Lions defense stepped up. The Lions were the more physical team tonight, and it showed. And the Vikings defense could only do so much. It's unfortunate that this goes on Flow as a 30-plus point game, but there's only so much you can do. You play 32, 34, 35 minutes defensively, you're going to wear down. And the Colts, by the way, saw this really all throughout the entire season. Although that's not relevant to this, but I just wanted to make a point of, like, Colts fans, you understand where I'm coming from here. And the Garf, appreciate the super chat. I know the Garf is always the super chats, appreciate it. Balky and Doug going to be gone. I'm saved. I hope you are, man. I really do. At least Hitman got an interception in his second to last game of his career. I think there's a chance that he comes back one more year. I really do. As a Lions fan, didn't even think Anzalone would make that big of a difference. I thought Alex played solid tonight. There was one play. By the way, I will address this. I know some Vikings fans will want this to be talked about. Let's just go ahead and get it out of the way. The one Jared Goff play in the beginning, I will stand by. I don't really discuss this too often, but I thought it should have been intentional grounding. The broadcast, say what you want about Collinsworth, Tirico, and then the rules analyst. I forget who the rules analyst's name is off the top of my head at NBC. My mind is just, I'm upset about the Vikings. But They all three was like, hey, Jahmyr Gibbs was blocking, 89 was blocking, clearly blocking, should have been grounding in the end zone. Even if it is, does it matter? Does it matter when you have a quarterback that goes 18 of 41 for 166 yards, 10, 12, 14 overthrows, whatever he had tonight? No. So even if they get the grounding, okay, cool. What, 31-11? I mean, it might not have been 31-11, but the Lions still would have won. So if you have to rely, I'm not, but if you would have to rely on, man, that grounding really changed everything, we would have won. No, you wouldn't have. The Lions were the better team. They've been there. They will continue to be there. You got swept by the Lions. They put up 31 points in each game against you this year. You put up 40. 62-40 is what they outscored you. So, just a frustrating one, man. If you guys, by the way, if you guys are enjoying, I'm just going to ask you to please drop a like. Please subscribe if you're not already. We are closing in on 176. Would be very much appreciated. But it was just, where do I think the Lions coordinators go after this season? Ben is going to have three choices between, at least he should, Chicago, New England, and Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville's a more enticing offer than a lot of people would make it out to be, because you're in a division with the Colts, the Texans, who've had their own problems, and the Titans, who are selecting with the number 1 pick. That's pretty enticing. I mean, if you're going to the Bears, you have to deal with the Lions, the Packers. Say what you want about the Vikings, they still won 14 games. Even if this is an outlier year, they're probably going to be a 10-11 win game most years. That's a pretty enticing deal there for Ben Johnson. Not really Texans hate their Texans fan, more of just the Texans aren't the Lions, they're not the Vikings, they're not the Packers. They were 0-3 against those teams this year. No disrespect, it's just that's the top of your division. It's not the Lions, Packers, and Vikings. Oh my. Shout out to Wizard of Oz. It's just not. All right. That's actually, let's go into Q&A now. Let's go into Q&A. Appreciate everyone joining in part 2, by the way. I appreciate everyone, because I'm sorry the power went out. I was actually really annoyed about the power going out. Garf, appreciate super chat. Pats are already interviewing Vrabel. All right, that's good. That's really good. Did I hear Gronk's reaction to Mayo's firing? I know he was about to go in, and then they cut him off, and he wasn't wrong, but it was also Mayo didn't improve to the level that I thought he should have. I mean, there was, guys, we're talking as little as 4 weeks ago, week 15 of the season. They lose to Arizona 30-17. They have a red zone scenario where they did not put Drake May as a potential runner, despite him kind of having Josh Allen type mobility. And they asked him after the game, would you have liked to have seen Drake run the ball? And he said, your words, not mine. I mean, guys, we're 15 weeks into a season. He's been a coach for 6 or 7 years. You have to do better. What type of message does that send to your offensive coordinator? Then he walks it back the next day. Oh, well, I actually didn't mean that. You have to do better. The Van Gink drop pick 6 was also big, but that was the Gink dropped pick 6 was the summarization of the Vikings night, by the way. Daniel, appreciate it. Do you think it's time for the Eagles to move on from Elliott? Also, could you talk more about Tanner McKee? I love hearing about the Birds. Also, prediction on our wildcard round game. So, the Eagles are, I don't think it's time for Jake Elliott yet. Maybe this offseason, but not with the playoff run, not with the playoff run. Unless he goes 0 for 3 in the wild card round and they somehow squeak it out, they're still alive. But not yet. Maybe this offseason. Now, for Tanner McKee, I thought he played better. I was not the biggest Tanner McKee fan coming out of Stanford, admittedly, but I thought he played well in this game, and he didn't have AJ, he didn't have Devontae. If I'm Howie Roseman right now, you definitely have to sit back and ask yourself, okay, who's better, Kenny or Tanner McKee? And I thought Tanner McKee, with what we saw in this game against the Giants today, small sample size, of course, the flashes were there from Tanner McKee, I thought, more than we ever saw with Kenny. That's where I would stand on that, and I would just really, really treat the quarterback 2 job like a serious competition this offseason. And I think at the worst case, I think somebody would still dump a 6th or 7th round pick for Kenny Pickett. So you have one bad, or you traded a 3rd round and a 4th round swap or something for Kenny. You have him for a backup for a year, and he wins a game 41-7 over the Dallas Cowboys in the one game he has to start. Okay. Would you take that? 20 picks. It was pick 98 for pick 120. Would you take that swap? Knowing you're going to win against the Cowboys 41-7? Yeah, you probably would. We got to move back 20 spots. Oh, darn. Okay. Move on. It's backup quarterback. That's kind of where I would stand with that. Marley, appreciate the new member. Appreciate it. All right. Oh, and by the way, the prediction of the wild card game, I think the Eagles are going to win. It's Jordan Love that situation is not fully clear right now. And I just think the Eagles are a better team than what the Packers are. I also trust the Eagles more than I trust the Packers, and I think they're going to win. I think it would be like 31-21 is where I would stand on that right now. I have a hard time believing any team is going into the link and beating the Birds in the postseason with this is a healthy Jalen Hurts, of course. Healthier Jalen Hurts. With Jalen Hurts, with Saquon, with Arthur Juan, Devontae, I have a hard time seeing that. So I think they're going to win. Dark horse of the NFC is absolutely the Los Angeles Rams. All right. Appreciate the super, me. Third super on the stream. Appreciate it. My Manders are playoff bound. I lived in Nova my whole life, and I'm booking a flight to Tampa. That's what's up. We love that. By the way, if you don't have tickets yet, game time, promo code analysis, $20 off your first order. Just saying. But shameless plug. But no, that's awesome. I'm happy for you. I am not far from the Nova area. I'm very familiar with the Nova area. I'm very familiar with the Nova area, whether it's Herndon, whether it's Chantilly, whether it's wherever, whether it's Stafford County. I'm very familiar with the area. So whether it's Arlington, whatever, I'm happy for you. That's awesome. That's a great time. Garf, appreciate the super chat. Let's see here. I'm from Woodbridge. That's what's up. Live in Maryland. Shout out Maryland, baby. Colts keeping Ballard is a nightmare for him. I just think we're at a point with Chris Ballard where he can get a little reckless. Because why would Chris Ballard at this point look to long-term rebuild the Colts when he's on a year-to-year basis? And that's where he should be probably gone, if we're being honest. So I am a little worried for the Colts. What do I think Brock Purdy's future looks like? If I had a dollar bill in front of me right now, I would just hold it up and do when the people do the that sound effect. There's a lot of dollars coming. A lot of dollars coming Brock Purdy's way. Let's go here. J-Mo finally got a 1,000 yard season. Happy for him. I've been a big J-Mo fan. I love J-Mo. I'm really happy for him. I really am. And I actually tweeted back in April. There was a clip of him. I think it might have been the All-22 clip of J-Mo from the NFC Championship game. The sweep around where there was the 40-yard run where he went to the right side and then cut it back in the middle. And I tweeted, I am humbly requesting Ben Johnson to give Jamison Williams more touches this year. Not that Ben Johnson follows the channel, but I'm glad he did. I'm glad that J-Mo had a 1,000-yard year. I'm happy for him. Really, really happy for him. All right, let's see here. AV, appreciate the super chat. How did I think Joe Milton played? Again, appreciate the first super chat. First one on the stream. I thought Joe Milton played fine. Could he be traded for a third or fourth? I'll be honest. I would rather keep Joe Milton than trade him, personally. Obviously, we know Drake May's the answer, but whether it's Drake May, whether it's not that he's fragile, not that he's a small quarterback, but whether it's Drake May, whether it's any other quarterback, any other premier quarterback, they're one play away from, a 320-pound offensive lineman falling into their leg or whatever, some freak play, right? I'd keep him. I thought Joe Milton played really well today. Now you have to factor in that it was against the backups. I would be surprised if a team would trade a third for him. Definitely a pick swap for sure. But I would rather just keep Joe Milton is where I would stand on that. The team who scores more points usually wins. Great point, John. Great point. Dark horse Super Bowl is Bucks. Mine personally is the Rams. Although I think the Rams. The Bucks are also awesome. The Bucks they're a really, really good team, man. They're a really good team. All right. Second place schedule next season takes some of the sting out of tonight. Man, if you had to ask me if I had a second place or first place schedule, I'd rather play the first place. If I had that opportunity, but you are correct. You are correct, though. But the Vikings schedule isn't going to be too bad next. I'm not out on the season next year. Sam Darnold, it's not an exaggeration to say, though, that next week Sam Darnold is playing for his Vikings tenure, because if Darnold has a great game next week, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, Vikings win, and they play in Detroit again in 2 weeks, which is possible. What if he has a good game then? Greetings from Germany. Is it good morning? Yes, good morning, I guess. What's up? How you doing? Appreciate you joining. Predictions on Texans game. I'll be honest. I would be very surprised if the Texans win. No hate. I would be surprised if the Texans win. I think the Chargers are a run organization. I think the Texans have a lot of questions, mainly around the offensive line. I think Jesse Minter will do what he can to limit CJ. And CJ's also had, I would say, a disappointing year relative to the standard that was set for him. Now, I am also under the belief that CJ was never going to have a good enough season, no matter what, entering 2025 because of the rookie year he had. Just the Texans, just frustrating. Jesus, I skipped your super chat. Where is it? I don't see it. Was it the Raiders? Hold on. Oh, there it is. So I didn't see it. I'm so sorry, Jesus. I do appreciate it. Who do I have as coach of the year after tonight? I'm a Vikings fan. I will be honest. I think in terms of just being honest, I think I do a good job of being unbiased in terms of things. Like I'm obviously rooting for my team when they're playing, obviously, but it can't not be Dan Campbell after tonight. They 2-0 against O'Connell. You outscore them. You beat them by 22 points with the season on the line. I feel like it has to be Dan Campbell. Everything that went against the Lions tonight. All the guys out. David Montgomery out. I know the Vikings had Christian Darrisaw out, but that doesn't compare to who Detroit had. It's got to be it doesn't compare to who Detroit had out. It has to be Dan Campbell after tonight. Let's see. What would you do with Geno Smith as Seattle's GM? Definitely keep him for one more year. That's a really tough situation because they're just in a brutal situation of kind of like the Steelers of the NFC, where they're solid. They're clearly never going to be a 3-14 team, 4-13 team with as much talent as they have. And I also really like Seattle's coaching staff. But in the same vein, are they going to be a 14-3 team, a 15-2 team? I don't think so. So Seattle's in a really tough situation. I would probably just keep Geno. That's probably where I'd go with that. All right, if you guys are enjoying, please drop a like. We're at 290. Appreciate everyone being in here. Let's get up to 350. Appreciate everyone being in here. How did the Lions pass rush have so much success tonight? Great super chat, Taylor. Appreciate the first super chat. So they had a lot of success because they were running a lot of stunts. It was really, really good, tremendous execution up front from Aaron Glenn's defense. So what that means is when you have a stunt, you have your defensive end, do this way. You have your defensive end, your tackle, your second tackle, and then another defensive end. Basically what they'll do is they will have a defensive end run directly at the left tackle, and then they will have the end loop around, and then they can even do situations where they will initially engage with the offensive lineman, the defensive lineman that is, then drop back into coverage while a linebacker loops around and completely catches the opposing offensive lineman off guard. Now that's very simplified for how a pass rush works. Very simplified. But the Lions did a combination of mixing it up all night, and they trusted their corners. There were a lot of plays where the Lions DBs were covering 3-4 seconds. They did a tremendous job. It was all around a just excellent performance defensively from the Lions. For you to have the Vikings with one of the highest scoring offenses all year, no touchdowns, 9 points. They had 6 points on 4 possessions that were deep in the Lions territory in the first half. Credit to Aaron Glenn. Truly credit to Aaron Glenn. All right, let's see here. Why were the Pats trying to get the win? Because they are, they're paid professionals. You can't just say, hey, go out and suck today, buddy. It just doesn't work like that. You can't say taking money from a man's family and say, all right, I need you to do me a solid, and then I'm going to fire you. So please suck today for the benefit of the franchise. Lose, and thanks, buddy. No, it doesn't work like that. So that's why. Let's see here. I'm going to bed. See you. Praying for you and the Vikings fans' well-being and peace of mind. I'm good now. I get on here and talk about it. We're good. We're good now. I don't think we're going to go to the Super Bowl or anything. I was under the belief if the Vikings played well in this game that they would have went to the Super Bowl. But they didn't. I don't think that's, unfortunately, reality anymore. I needed Gibbs to not get 28 points to win my league. I'm not happy. I wouldn't be either. It was the Jahmyr Gibbs night. Credit to him, man. All right. Just so you can get their replacement. No, they won't do that. What are we referring to here? Anyway, Garf, appreciate the super chat. Where do you think Tyreek ends up after this? I honestly have no idea because who would want him after that? I'm good, bro. I gotta do what's best for me. No offense, right? But you are still under contract. you are still a player on the Miami Dolphins tomorrow no matter what. You still have multiple years left on your deal. So I'm not really a fan of like, oh, hey, I'll catch you boys later, I'm out. You still have years on your contract. Your contract's not expiring. You're not just, all right, thanks, Tyreek, glad you're making that known before free agency. He's still under contract for multiple years. I have no idea what they would do, what they're going to do. All right, let's see here. Con, I'll go ahead and answer this. Nothing. Just nothing. There was something today where it was... I'm not going to get into that. You can probably think... I mean, you can infer how, like, 99% of people feel. All right, let's see. There was something... Yo, bro, Ravens or Eagles. I think Ravens are the better team, but I want to know what you think. In terms of who goes further, I feel like the Eagles are going to go to the conference championship. I think they're going to have an easier path than the Ravens because I think the Ravens are probably going to be Steelers, Bills, and then the Eagles are going to get a struggling Packers team, and then I don't know after that. Bills to the Super Bowl? Right now, I'd still pick Kansas City. All right, who is the best realistic player or coach pickup for the Falcons? I feel like Liam Cohen would be a solid coaching pickup for the Falcons. I don't know what they're going to do. Oh, who am I with in the picture right here? Shannon Sharp. I'm actually... So let me go... I'll take the picture frame off the wall here. So here it is. I'm here. Let's see. Yeah, I'm here in the purple. You see the logo, and then Shannon's here in the white. So that's how it goes, if you guys were wondering. So I'll just go ahead and put that down. Actually, I'll hang it up later. But you get the gist. Thoughts on this quarterback draft class? Not really good. It's not really good. Cam and Shador are okay, but they're not really great. Or the class outside of those guys, not really great. All right, let's see here. Would I host a public watch party / meetup for the subs? Absolutely. Appreciate the super chat, by the way. Absolutely. No, I have talked to management about that. I absolutely want to do public things for sure. Definitely get out and meet people. I'm in Maryland right now, but I definitely want to for sure. Super Bowl predictions right now, I'd probably say Lions-Chiefs. Is where I would go. That's probably what I would say. Don't know where you guys stand on that. Guys, what are your guys' Super Bowl predictions? I'm more curious. Do the Vikings move on from Sam? Sam's future as a Viking relies on next week because 18 of 41 for 166 yards. It's not going to get it done. Season on the line, game on the line. It's not going to get it done. Especially when J.J. McCarthy's right there. It's not going to get it done. So... looks like a 31-9 game to me, not even close to 24-10. I mean, I personally disagree. There was a lot of missed opportunities. You had 6 points and 4 red zone opportunities. Again, credit to the Lions defense. Shout out DMV, baby. Absolutely. Am I high on Bo Nix? Reasonably. I mean, there's some people that after Bo Nix having a 33 total touchdown season, people want to make this out to be that, well, Bo Nix had a solid rookie year, but guess what? He's no Josh Allen. He's no Lamar Jackson. He's never going to be Joe Burrow or Patrick Mahomes. And it's like, who actually is? Aside from those players. So I think Bo is fine. But no, he's fine. I just don't like I really don't like the ultimatum of where we are with how it goes with young quarterbacks. All right, thoughts on the AFC wild card matchups? Great content. Appreciate it, Anthony. Appreciate the first super on a live stream. Appreciate it. The AFC wild card matchups, I think the Ravens will beat the Steelers. Actually, I'll go in chronological order. I think the Chargers will beat the Texans, the Ravens will beat the Steelers, and then the Bills will beat the Broncos. I would be extremely surprised if the Broncos go into Buffalo and win. No hate, it's just, Bo Nix going into a really good Buffalo team, especially with the Bills having a pretty much week of rest in Week 18. I'd be very surprised. The Steelers are very much struggling, and the Ravens, they know they have to ground and pound this year more than they did last year, big time, and I think they're going to, and I think they're going to put an emphasis on not to make mistakes, play mistake-free football, and I think they're going to win. And then the Chargers, I just think they're a slightly better team than the Texans, although they're really interesting matchup-wise because of Kamari Laster, because of Caleb Bullock, because of Derek Stingley, Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnston. I can't wait to see how that plays out. So I'm really looking forward to... I think all of the matchups are really good in the wild card round. All right, do the Browns and Titans both go quarterback, asks Gabe. I don't know, man. I feel like the Titans have to because I feel like Rand Carthon's job is kind of on the line, although the Titans may go sign Sam Darnold. We'll see. Do I think McCarthy goes if Darnold goes to the NFC Championship? So if Sam did not, I know, Joseph, I'm ecstatic. I'm very appreciative of everyone being here. Very appreciative. Hopefully everybody's enjoying the stream, by the way. But I'm under the belief if Sam wins a playoff game or even two, you run it back one more year. Because JJ's only 21 years old. JJ is... I'm pretty sure he's over 2 years younger than both Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. So I would be, I'm fine if they want to run it back with Sam if he plays all right in the playoff game. If he kind of shits the bed again, then no. All right. Let's keep it going here. Based on all their first years, predict how you think each rookie's quarterback career will go. Caleb will be fine. Caleb's fine. Jaden is really great. Like him a lot. Drake May also really great. Michael Penix, that is an interesting situation to pay attention to. I like Penix. I actually really like everybody in this class. JJ's going to be good. Bo is good. Rare class where everybody is looking pretty good. Appreciate it, Larry. Appreciate that more than you know. I really do. This foot of snow in Maryland tonight is going to be killer. I am not looking forward to that, I'll be honest, because let me just explain something, guys. I'll get up tomorrow. Not going to be able to go to the gym because it's going to be 6 inches of snow on the road. So if there's any Buffalonians or Minnesotans that laugh at 6 inches of snow on the road, 6 inches of snow on the road in Maryland is a lot. It's a lot. And then I'm just going to really just wait for the snow to end and then go shovel the snow, which is not fun. I'm not a fan of shoveling snow, by the way. Not a fan of shoveling snow. Looking to move soon. Get out of the snow. I'm not a fan of snow at all, but all right. Let's see here. Has it started snowing yet? I can't tell from where I am. Hopefully not, though. Hopefully it misses us. Hopefully it just skirts all the way around. Hopefully it just turns into rain. Hopefully it gets a little too warm. Karen, appreciate the super, or Karan, appreciate the super, although I did not see a comment. Let's see here. Your channel's grown a lot since you first started doing these lives. We're getting there, baby. We're getting there, and I appreciate everyone being in here. Appreciate it. Let's see here. When will I start doing mocks, asks Connor. Soon. Probably. The thing is, I want to do a lot of collaborative mock drafts. So you guys could probably think of other NFL YouTubers that would be interested in collaborating, having them on the channel for guests. But we'll do them soon enough. Would I move to Arizona? I probably would not. I would probably not move to Arizona. No, I'm thinking East Coast. I don't want to go too far. Bengal for sure, says Black Ranger. Barry collab when? Maybe next year. Maybe we'll get Barry on the channel next year for the Eagles preview. We'll see. Predictions of Commanders Bucks. I think the Bucks are going to win because they are. I mean the Bucks offense is really good. And the thing is I generally trust, I don't say I trust Baker more than Jaden, but Baker's been there. This is, I don't want to say now or never for Baker, but Jaden's future is very bright. Tampa already beat Washington handedly earlier in the year. Granted, it was week 1. Completely different teams from where they are then where they are now. I just trust... I think I trust the Bucks more than I do the Commanders. I don't think it's going to be a 17-point game because it was like 37-20, I think it was the final. I think it'll be like 31-28. I think it'll be potentially one of the best games of Wild Card Weekend. All right. You should do one with Perna for the Broncos. I absolutely will. He was on last year. Perna, I will say this. He keeps me on my toes. He keeps me on my toes. I'll say that. I never know what he's going to say. I like him a lot. But he always keeps me on my toes. Let's see here. K-Chan, Trevor Lawrence. What do you think Trevor Lawrence needs to work on? That's a really tough question. Let me think of how to answer this. Because Trevor, I don't know if this is something he needs to work on. He needs to get better coaching. That's not really something he can work on. But Trevor at times gets the happy feet. He kind of dances out of the pocket a little too early for my liking. I think, I don't know how you would actually like go about working on that rather than trusting a read or something, because if you wait a second in the NFL, that's an eternity, especially if you're 1.9 seconds into a play. That's a very long time. Trevor, and you can't exactly just say, all right, like, hey Trevor, go throw 100 deep balls today and report back with your accuracy numbers, or something like that. I would say not mobility, but I would say his awareness within the pocket. But his offensive line, I would also argue, has failed him largely for a lot of his career. Let's see here. Nathaniel, appreciate super chat. To be honest, snow barely happens in the DMV anymore. I am grateful for that, trust me, but the 10 inches, man, that's tough. That is really tough. Do I think Abdul Carter will fall to pick 8? I do not. I like Abdul a lot. All right, I should collab with Bengal. That is the plan. That is one of the plans. That is definitely one of the plans. Brett Coleman, come on down. Another one. Definitely another collab to keep on the lookout for sure. Definitely. Let's see what else we have here. Appreciate it, Victor. Appreciate the super. Do I think the Cardinals move on from Drew Petzing? I think they should. Now, in terms of will they? I feel like I'd be surprised if they did. I feel like the Cardinals don't fire coaches or personnel quickly. I feel like they are kind of like the Bengals, where they really like take their time and they let things kind of sort themselves out. I think Steve Keim's a great example of that. So I don't think they will, to be honest with you. All right, what is this? Klassen Gamer, appreciate the super chat. Would Baker have taken the Browns to a divisional round appearance in 2024? I would say no. I would say no, because there's a lot wrong with that team. Divisional round appearance, I'd also require them to win a playoff game. Win a road playoff game, which I would say, let me rephrase that. I would say that yes, if they get the Texans in round 1. If they got a repeat, yes. But I don't think they would go into Buffalo and win. I don't think they would go into Baltimore and win. Or Kansas City. So it would be very stipulation. Very, very stipulation dependent there. Well, if you interview an NFL player this offseason, definitely would like to. We did one. We interviewed one last year. Safety of Fatu Melifonwu of the Lions, who is now part of a 1 seed. So that would definitely be the intent for sure. GPS show, yeah. GPS show. Shout out. Let's see here. I missed a super chat. I asked who your Super Bowl favorite is. Did I miss a super chat? I see Sleepy Gorilla. Oh, there it is. Sleepy Gorilla. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Do I have an early Super Bowl favorite? It would definitely, I mean, you can't bet against the Chiefs. I'm sorry. You cannot bet against the Chiefs. I know that's cliche. I know people don't like that, but you can't bet against them. I am not really, really tough thing to believe here. I'm not going to bet against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in the postseason. I'm not, personally. So it would be the Chiefs. Chiefs and probably Lions would be where I am. And I know people are going to hate that I'm going both 1 seeds, but going into Detroit, it's tough and winning. The 14-win Vikings got beat by 22 points tonight. So, did the Chiefs tank intentionally? No. Who are the Lions' toughest matchup in the NFC? I feel like with how banged up they are, I feel like the Eagles are a very tough matchup. I also think the Rams would be up there. Tampa already beat them, of course, so gotta respect the Bucs. I mean, the NFC is loaded, guys. The NFC is loaded. I just still wouldn't bet against the Lions. Like I said, hell or high water at Ford Field. I just would not bet against them. Lions need to get healthy in a week's time if they want to continue to play with fire. We'll see. Did Drew Petzing hate MHJ? I don't think so. Garf, appreciate the super chat. Trevor needs to get a support staff that lets him settle in and play. Coaching and scheme, O-line, pass catchers. He plays at a high level. He plays at a pretty solid level for sure. But the thing is we're 4 years into Trevor Lawrence's career, and we've unfortunately rarely have seen that. So I agree with what you're saying, though. I really do. Sleepy Gorilla, appreciated thoughts on the Tyreek Hill drama. We discussed it a little bit earlier, but it's just you have multiple years left on your contract. Oh, let me take a sip here. You have multiple years left on your contract. You just lost a game on the road in North Jersey. You have a 2.5-hour flight home to Miami, and you are openly talking to the press. Yeah, man, it's been real, bro. I got to get out. Why? You couldn't wait till tomorrow? You couldn't wait till your exit interview? You just make that decision now? It's idiotic. I just feel like there's no way to justify that. I mean, you have multiple years left on your contract. This isn't a free agency discussion. I don't like it personally. That's where I stand on that. Let's see here. First super appreciated from Grand Theft Awesome. Do I think the Patriots trade for a top wide receiver? I do, and his name is T. Higgins. I do. I actually kind of hope the Patriots, well, they're at pick 3 now because it's Titans, Browns, Patriots. Or, no, pick 4. Pick 4, sorry. Actually, I don't know if they're going to be able to. I was thinking like, hey, maybe they can trade down. We'll see. But I would like for them to be able to acquire a little bit of draft capital as much as they can, and then trade for T. Higgins. But they need to trade for T. Higgins. They have a lot of money this offseason, and we're going to do a rebuilding Patriots video for sure. For sure. But, guys, that is going to wrap up the stream. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Sorry for the part 2 because of the power going out for a second, but appreciate everyone who came back and appreciate everyone being here. Hopefully you guys are subscribed to the channel. We're closing in on 176 subs. 200 by the NFL draft is the goal. Appreciate everyone being here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. And I'll catch you guys next time. We will be live for the wild card preview on Friday, discussing all 6 games. Can't wait. Next video will be live Tuesday noon Eastern, then Thursday at noon, and then Saturday at 10. And as always, until next time, please be safe and have a great day. Love you guys.